Well, here we are, the 90-day challenge to unleash the elite leader within you. Video 3 out of 24. Mother Teresa is mad. Martin Luther King Jr. is mad. Helen Keller, Billy Graham, mad. Pope John Paul II, Eleanor Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, all mad. Your favorite teacher, your professor, Nelson Mandela, you are mad. That would all be true if you knew what MAD stood for, and that is making a difference. Making a difference. Our third video leadership lesson is called the VENN principle. So I hopped on my bike and drove up here to a cemetery near my home. And as I'm walking through the cemetery, I couldn't help but notice a headstone with Schmidt on it. No relation to me, but certainly that's my last name. And it causes you to begin thinking about the impact that you make on the world. And a friend of mine, Mitch Anthony, has this great saying, rather than ROI, return on investment, what is your return on life? What is your ROL? And that's a very different discussion, isn't it, than just how my investments are doing versus how is my life doing? I don't know about you, but it absolutely causes me to think about what are the world's deep needs that are something that I could put my shoulder behind? What are the gifts God put in me that I should be using to help solve some of those world needs? And are there things that bring me joy? And the combination of those three things could be an amazing life purpose and an amazing return on life. This is pretty big thinking, right? I mean, remember, this is April, so this is our first month of investing in yourself, right? May is investing in others, and June is investing in the business. So we're just building this foundation. So it's gonna take some deep thinking. So where are we at so far? We're on a bike ride, and I shared with you some humans that have made a significant impact on the world that are mad, right? That are making a difference. And then we took a stroll through the cemetery where I found someone with my same last name, and we talked about the return on life. Not just ROI, but ROL. You know, I ran across this phrase that is really interesting to me, and I think we all struggle with it, and it's called chronic partial engagement. We are chronically partially engaged in everything. We have an inch-deep relationship across our whole life rather than this depth of self-understanding and self-discovery. And wouldn't it be interesting if we could flip this on its head and call it daily introspection? Well, if I could ask you 3 questions that would, number 1, unveil a greater life purpose for you, number 2, identify your greatest gifts, and number 3, have more fun, would you dig in? I mean, are you grabbing a pen and paper right now? The concept is the VENN principle. John Venn in 1880 created this concept of having 2 intersecting circles. For example, if adventure was one of my values as a business owner, and I wanted to hire 25 to 40-year-olds, could I find one group of people in my key market that are between the ages of 25 and 40? Could I find a database with that group on there? And secondly, could I find a list of people that are members of REI or some outdoor adventure kind of company? So if I've got 25 to 40-year-olds here, and I've got people that love adventure here, and I blend these 2 circles together, the subset of where they come together is the group that I'm going to focus in on. There are millions and millions of examples that you could use for this Venn diagram. And I'm going to show you in a very elementary way. I've got a whiteboard in my workshop. And again, this is 1950s technology. I am not an expert at LinkedIn or YouTube, but I want to convey these leadership lessons to you. Take a look. Well, this Venn diagram, I tell you, what it can unveil is quite profound. And so what I want you to think about, especially in light of the making a difference in the world and the return on life, it really is an intersection of asking yourself 3 questions and taking the time to journal about each one of these 3. And so let's cover exactly what those 3 are. The first circle that we're going to draw here is all about asking ourselves, what does the world need? What are the needs inside of the world that we can begin to journal about, to think that I can solve, that I've been put on this world to solve something significant? And so to take the time to uncover, what is it that the world needs? The second area that we're going to cover is, what am I great at? What am I great at? What gifts are inside of me that I want to put to good use? What am I great at? Again, taking the time to journal on each of these things will really help you get much deeper as you think about the life that you can live and the impact that you can make. Now, the third circle that intersects with these 2, we call, what do you love? What do you love to do? Now, what I find fascinating is there's also intersections with each of these. And so where the world has a need here and you are great at it, this intersection of these 2 is really all about stewardship. What is my responsibility that if I'm great at this and the world actually needs it, I have an obligation to use those gifts to help solve that problem. Now, if there's something that I'm great at and I love doing it, my goodness, that's where I've got a passion. And the third intersection, where the world needs this and I love to do it, that is on my mission. The best part of all is uncovering your life purpose. What is it that intersects at all 3? When you spend the deep thinking time about what the world needs, when you spend the deep thinking time about what you are great at, the skills and the talents that God put in you, and then lastly, it's something that you absolutely love doing, what is it after all of that deep thinking that you land on that to say, that is my life purpose? Well, before I give you your call to action, I had to read this quote from Winston Churchill. He said, "What is the use of living if it is not to strive for noble causes and to make this muddled world a better place for those who will live in it after we are gone?" What is it the use of living if it is not to strive for noble causes and to make this muddled world a better place for those who will live in it after we're gone? So your call to action is to take 20 minutes tomorrow morning in a journal and write, what are the great deep needs of the world? And the following day, take 20 minutes and journal, what are you great at? What have other people told you is your superpower? And number 3, what do you love to do? And I hope by day 4, you will start to see how the world will be unveiled to you to combine all 3 of those things into a compelling life purpose. Best of luck. We'll see you next time.